just want to acknowledge the folks that came and watched us play this afternoon. Odd start time. Obviously, we're trying to piggyback Egg Bowl, and they showed up. I thought the upper level was unbelievable. I didn't realize it until the second half, but we appreciate those folks coming out and watching us play. It's as big a non-league crowd that I remember since I've been here. I guess it's only been a year and a handful of games, but it makes a difference. These kids feed off it, and hopefully we've gained some new fans after today. Hopefully some of them left before the last 4 minutes of the game, and you see the debacle that was the ending of that basketball game. But I really appreciate those folks showing up and watching these kids play.
We'll start with Paul, front row to coaches left.
Outside of Trey's first game and then Hubbard's game in the tournament where he had 29, you've had pretty balanced scoring this year, and you may mention that all season now. You got more guys that can contribute this year. Is that what you expected coming in and have that balanced group?
Yeah, you never know how it will unfold, but I enjoy having a balanced scoring. Certainly we're not trying to hold anyone down, but at the same time, it just makes it so difficult to prepare against from a defensive scouting perspective. And there's multiple guys that can have big nights. You're not relying on one thing over and over to carry you offensively. And last year we had some of that, with Tolu having to carry the load on many nights around the basket. And but you're seeing it, now with, like you said, we've had some guys have big games, but they've been different. And I think you'll still see that going forward. So far, so good.
Steph, go ahead.
With Keyshawn coming back today, you kind of got going there a bit, the second half. I guess just how big is it for him right now to just get in games and kind of get, some conditioning going as he returns?
Yeah, it was a special day for him. He was back much earlier than any of us expected. He was way ahead of schedule with his rehab. He was very diligent. And a shout out to Andrew Kegley and his folks for all the extra time that they spent with him, and obviously Tolu as he still goes through the process. But that was about the number of minutes in my head. He didn't have a restriction or anything like that, but that was kind of what we were hoping for, to kind of get his feet wet. And certainly had some good, some bad, like most of our guys do when they get in the game. But hopefully that'll give him some confidence, with the injury of playing in the game, and he can be better going forward.
You talked about, the crowd as well. It seems like they got loud. They understood, the magnitude of him going in there. I guess just, what do you think it meant to him, and what it means to y'all to kind of see the crowd recognize, what he's been through the past few months?
Well, we got a good fan base, and they get it. Didn't really think about it until I subbed them in that, they would react like that, but it was certainly awesome to see. And I just thought they knew it was his birthday. It's his birthday today. So I thought maybe there was something on the board that they knew it was his birthday, and they were serenading him out here before I came in here. But he's such a nice kid. He's such a fun-loving kid. He's fun to be around. He's well-liked. Got to be as well-liked as anybody on our team. Not that we're comparing, but he gets along with everybody, and he's a heck of a basketball player.
Coach, you guys opened second half, big statement with the alley-oop to Mook. Was that kind of a design play, or was that just something that they came up with on the fly?
It was a design play. The lob dunk part of it, they did on their own. It was a design play to get the positions where they're at in the court, and the cut and the slide on the right side. But the lob opened up, and they took advantage of it. It was a great way to start the second half.
Y'all hauled in 19 offensive rebounds today. I think Jimmy had another double-double. I guess how much are you able to just kind of lean on that rebounding when you go through some cold stretches on offense like you had in the first half today?
Yeah, you'd like to have that, as a strength of yours. I've had some really good offensive rebounding teams. We'll see if this one develops into that. But like you said, when you're not making shots, either from the field, from the three, and from the free throw line like we were in the first half, we got, I think at least one of those back. And we thought going into the game that, just look at the size difference, that had to be an advantage for us. We were preaching it for 2 days, and we started off great. I think we had 5 or 6 offensive rebounds before the first media, and then the second media we didn't have any, and so we kept discussing it. And we ended up having, 47% offensive rebounding, which is a huge number. You're almost getting half your misses back, and it's hard to defend against because it's so deflating.
We'll stay front row and go to Justin, the coach's right.
Going back to Keyshawn Murphy stuff, just the fact that Jimmy and Guy have been as productive as they have through this first 16, how much does that sort of help you ease him back to his whatever role you're looking for him when he's on?
Yeah, I mean, we may end up having, some minute issues. And again, I've always said this, it's a good problem to have. I'd rather have that than the other issue, I like a longer bench than a short one, but, we'll deal with it. That's the whole deal of having depth is, you gotta be ready to go every day. You gotta be on it, you gotta have your mind right, you gotta practice well, you gotta be productive. And when you get your shots in the game, your motor's gotta be red. I talk about it all the time, your mindset and your motor's gotta be going. Only 5 guys start the game. The rest of the game, everybody comes off the bench. And that's a theme for us. The rest of the game, the 5 guys that start, that's it. Everybody else is coming off the bench, including them, right? So that's so overrated in my opinion. You have to be able to get your mind and your motor ready to go when your number's called, regardless of when it is. And we don't play the, hey, I sat there for 10 minutes before I played. That's the way it is. So you're gonna have to figure it out, or we'll pick someone else next time. So we'll see how it unfolds, but obviously we're getting more and more guys healthy and available on game nights.
And then I asked Cam before he came in just about the fact that you guys, you added a lot of offensive pieces this offseason. You guys still sort of embrace this defensive identity that you create here. How important is that to just have that to fall back on when shots aren't falling and consistently be able to go back to those defensive moves?
I mean, that's what our non-negotiables are. And that's just what we believe in. Certainly, we're trying to do better offensively. And people that watch us both years definitely have a different style to us this year than in the past. And it's still a work in progress. But at the end of the day, 5 for 23, from the 3, we still were able to win pretty easily at home. So we're going to have nights where we struggle from the 3. We want to rely on that. We want to have that in our back pocket. It's something we rally around every single day. And they all know that. They get it. They know how important it is. And the quicker they buy into it, the better off they are individually.
Instead of coaches trying to take it.
Going back to the offensive rebound, I think at one point, second half, all your margins basically second chance points. So what does it mean when you have guys not just looking to get that offensive rebound, but produce something with it?
Yeah, I thought we struggled finishing early in the game. We were getting the offensive rebounds, but for whatever reason, we couldn't stick it back in the goal, and we could have a bigger lead early, I thought, but that wasn't the case. Credit to Nicholls for scrapping and competing around the rim. They were a little undersized that way. But I mean, it's just a luxury to have a team that has a bunch of guys that understand the importance of offensive rebounding. It just is. When when you're going to get second and third opportunities, it's just hard to play against. When we play teams that are aggressive on the glass, which a lot of teams in this league are, we spend a lot of time, talking about it, showing and working on it. It's something we emphasize every single day. There's 4 or 5 core things that we emphasize every day in every practice, and both sides of the ball, rebounding is one.
Second row block half, middle.
All right, Coach, you talked a little bit about the fans and them showing up today after the Egg Bowl, but the players, Thanksgiving yesterday, early game, Egg Bowl. Kind of talk about how you got those guys ready, the way they responded coming out today.
Yeah, we piggybacked it. Like I said, we actually tried to get a corner on Wednesday night before the Egg Bowl, just knowing we'd have a bunch more people in town, and I don't know where it didn't come to fruition. But yesterday was a long day, for all of us. We had early morning practice, we got all that in, and then we had most of the guys, the coaches over at our house, and we celebrated Thanksgiving, which was great. And then we had some other responsibilities that we had to take care of, and then certainly the game, and then we brought them back at night about 8:30 to make sure we were locked and loaded, and we understood it was an early morning game, and we were going to get to bed, and then 8 a.m. shoot around comes fast, but we've had a bunch of early games already. We're getting used to it. They've responded pretty well. Our shoot around surprisingly have been pretty good for 8 a.m., which I didn't expect, but that's a good sign.
Go ahead, Danny.
Tanner asked about the alley-oop slam for Cam, but there was a lot of action around the basket in that way with the slam dunks and things. Just, you had mentioned about the energy. Just talk about the energy they did bring in this game, players.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, go back for decades and decades, fans get excited when they make those kind of athletic plays, and so do their teammates. You know, they're rhythm changers, they're momentum changers. You know, I mean, you can say, "Oh, just take the two." No, tear it down. Right? Let's change the tenor of the game, and let's be aggressive, because the other, like, I don't like it when they dunk it in my goal. Right? I don't necessarily love that feeling. So, you know, we preach, get after it. You know, let's turn the game. Let's get the crowd into it, or take the crowd away from the road. So, you know, they like doing it. It's fun, and there's some importance to it.
Guy was talking earlier about, you know, how much he's been able to learn from guys like Cam and Tolu. What have you thought of the way guys kind of embrace, you know, the ability to learn from those guys and grow, you know, under their mentorship?
One day he's gonna write a book, man, and he's gonna remember lessons that he's being taught every day, because he's going against some veterans, you know, Tolu Smith and Jimmy Bell and Cam Matthews, even as we play small ball, and he's had some rough days. You know, he's had his nose broke, he's got hit, you know, a few times inadvertently, but he's been roughed up a little bit, and I always tell him, like, this is all part of the deal, man. Like, just stick with it. Okay, you're gonna grow from these scars, and you're gonna look back someday and you know, be the player that you are, because he's gonna be a really good player. He's a good player right now, but I think he's got a chance to be really, really good, because you've seen a little bit of it. He's got a skill set. Okay, he knocks down free throws. He's got beautiful touch. He can score it, shoot it out to the mid-range. I think eventually he'll be confident enough to shoot the three, and with a guy that big and spacing the floor, and like I've always said about him, he doesn't fear anything. He doesn't fear anybody, he doesn't fear anything, and that's why he's out there in the mix.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go to Paul and then to Benjamin to wrap it up.
Noticed, Andrew didn't get in the game today. Was that more of a coach's decision, or is he healthy, or?
Yeah, it was kind of a mutual decision. You know, we're still getting him back in the swing of things, and he's definitely gonna, you know, he's part of our program. And we actually asked him, you know, at the end, I tend to do that, especially with the older guys. You know, when it gets down to their guys that have been around, hey, you want to play or not? You know, and so we did that. And but yeah, he's gonna have to, like all of us, you know, work and grind and try to get some minutes.
And you mentioned in the off-season that you guys are kind of going from the hunter to the hunted, and you want to see how your guys handle those expectations. You'd rather have that, the higher expectations, than the other way. I know this wasn't a key win today, but you guys are ranked 25th, back in the polls again. How do you see last year's experience of getting in the rankings compared to this year, as far as the guys being able to handle it? And because they seem, I asked Cam about this, like last year's start was kind of unexpected. They didn't know what to expect, but this year they have an air about them, like this is what they expected.
Well, a lot of the talk came before the injuries. You know, there was a lot of talk and all the too early polls and this and that and the other. And we had more people coming through the gym evaluating our team than we had the year before, from different analysts and different networks and things that they do their homework on. And then it kind of went away for a while, you know, and we try to use that to our advantage. And we knew going to this game, you know, we had a lot of, you know, ammunition, if you will, with last year's scare, right? And then they beat LSU, and you know, so we had plenty to talk about to get our guys ready to go. But in terms of, you know, the rankings and all that stuff, we haven't talked about it one time. At least I haven't talked about it with anyone in our team or even our coaching staff. You know, since that came out, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad that we're being acknowledged, and it's great for the program in a lot of different areas. But at the end of the day, you know, we got a lot of basketball yet to be played.
You already talked some about the energy that a play like a slam dunk can bring to the team and the crowd, but we saw 4 of those from Cam Matthews. He was a perfect 6 for 6 from the field, very efficient night. You know, what do you see from his game today?
I mean, he had a couple turnovers that, you know, we didn't like. You know, he's such a good passer, and he's got a great feel for the game. He's got a high basketball IQ. He's locked into scouting reports. You know, he sometimes questions how we're guarding something, and I love it. Like, I love it. That tells me, you know, he's in, right? When those kids start asking me questions, what about this? And we encourage that, and he's probably leading the pack when it comes to that. But he's just, you know, sometimes he wants to thread that needle and make the highlight pass instead of just sit play and gets us in trouble sometimes with his careless turnovers, but it's never a lack of effort or energy with him. He's definitely, a big part of what's going on right now.
We'll see you guys Monday.